I come in, sir?
Please come.
Good morning, sir. Good morning,
Good morning.
sir. Good morning, sir.
Please sit down.
Thank you, sir.
Pratibha, tell us about yourself briefly.
Sir, my name is Pratibha. I belong to village Chakharipura in the Hanumangarh district of Rajasthan. I have done my schooling from Hanumangarh itself. After that, I did my graduation in BA program from Miranda House College, University of Delhi. And after college, I started preparing for UPSC Civil Services.
Pratibha, tell me, Ganganagar, Hanumangarh, Raising Nagar and these areas, they are the agriculture bowls of
sir.
Rajasthan.
Yes, sir.
Even then, the development in these areas is not as good as the central Rajasthan. So, what do you think are the historical reasons and present reasons for undeveloped? I mean, not developing in these areas?
Sir, though Hanumangarh, Ganganagar, these are agriculture regions. With agriculture for the development, industry is also needed. They are backward in terms of industry, only the cotton industry is flourishing there. And so secondly, the literacy in these areas are very less as comparison to whole Rajasthan. Only 66% literacy is there. So, and so thirdly, the skill programs were not properly implemented. So that's why these are few reasons for the poor development of Hanuman.
But if I remember, there were quite a few spinning mills there. There was one in Ganganagar, there was one in Hanumangarh, and cotton ginning machines here and there. But bigger mills also which produced yarn, and they have closed down.
Yes, sir. So though cotton mills are there and some textile mills are there, but the other like agriculture was flourishing there. The food processing industries has a great scope out there, but they were not developed. And so at the same time, though agriculture was there, but the marketing in agriculture and the other infrastructure in agriculture was not that well developed.
Pratibha, you are an economic student also.
Yes, sir.
Now, India is reeling under inflation. RBI has taken some steps.
Yes.
But still inflation is, is record high. What measures can be taken now?
Sir, recently we have seen that RBI has increased the policy rate. So to curb the inflation, our government needs to take several steps. Firstly, in the terms of the expenditure, the government has to reduce its expenditure so that the more crowding in the market of the private sector will happen, and the other demand the demand will not increase much, because to curb the inflation, the demand supply balance should be there. And so secondly, to curb inflation, we need to increase the supply in the market. For that, we need to promote the industries out there, and the several benefits need to be given to the industries. And so thirdly, the RBI should, with the help of other than policy rate, RBI should work on the other aspects also, like the bank rate, and there should be a marginal rationing in the giving up of loans, so that the proper guidelines will be provided to the banks.
Are you in favor of RBI increasing the repo rate further?
Sir, though it has some consequences also, but this is the right step in the present situation, because our CPI inflation has already above 7%, which was more than the targeted that the aim we have, that 2 to 6% aim that Monetary Policy Committee have set up. So our base step is in right direction to curb inflation. Otherwise, in future, we will face the rising inflation and the condition may become worse.
But the rise of inflation helps also the economy in some manner. Can you recall one or two such things which get benefited with inflation?
Sir, when the inflation, if the inflation is within the limits, or there was general basic price rise in the economy, then that time inflation was a good in the economy. Firstly, sir, if we see the basic rise in the food prices, or it will increase the agriculture income of the farmers. And so secondly, if the basic inflation was there, then the wage rate will also increase in economy, so it will increase the income and further the employment in the economy.
Pratibha, I pass on to my member.
Pratibha, you are a Miranda House graduate. Where does this name come from? Why
Sir,
this name, Miranda?
the Miranda House was founded by the Maurice Boyer, that time Vice Chancellor of the Delhi University. While he kept this name on the basis of the Shakespeare's play, The Tempest, in which there was a character Miranda. According
Okay.
to him, she was the perfect example of women.
What does this word mean in Latin? I mean, it's a Latin word, Miranda. Literally, what does it mean?
Sorry, sir, I'm not aware about this.
It's worthy of admiration. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. You have shown interest in Sudoku.
Sudoku, sir.
Sudoku, it is called Sudoku.
Yes.
Okay. What does it mean?
Sir, it was a number place game
Uh-huh.
in which there was a 9 by 9 grid and 3 by 3 subgrids, in which we have to fill the numbers and the number should not be repeated in the one row or column.
Okay. All right. And you have been playing this all
Yes,
through?
sir.
Does it add to your vocabulary or numerical ability? Does it hone your numerical abilities?
Yes, sir. It will work in improving the numerical ability and it will help to rejuvenate my mind and refreshment for the mind.
All right. Can we replace numbers with alphabets and rather start increasing our vocabulary the same way?
Sir, in recently the Wordle, like a Sudoku, also came in that number place were used in the alphabets are used in place of number. So there is already a Wordle, but I prefer to play Sudoku because it's available on newspaper.
Okay. All right. So you have done geography and economics as
Yes,
your undergraduate subjects, and you continue with geography as your optional,
Yes, sir.
right? Look at the world geography, okay, different countries, geographies of different countries, and look at Indian geography.
Yes.
What are the comparative advantages or disadvantages that occur to India as a geographical unit in terms of major economic, say, avenues? It could be energy, it could be agriculture, it could be minerals, aquifers, facilitating sweet water, whatever.
Sir, India, if we see, it is also called a subcontinent because in India we have all kinds of topography, climate, diversities. All the geographical diversities are present in India. So there were wide scope of industries and agriculture, tourism. So we can't say that India acquired anything that is disadvantages for India, but we need to utilize our potential in the rightful way.
How are we placed in terms of energy, the sources of energy that modern nations use, and what does Indian geography do to us?
Sir, if we
Where do we source our energy requirements from as a nation?
Sir, are more than 60% of energy requirement is from the thermal power plants and the coal sector. And after nearly 36% of our energy requirements are from the non-fossil fuel sources that we are acquiring at present. Sir, but geographically we have a great potential because we are the tropical countries. We have potential in terms of solar energy, and we are also large area of our is coastal area, so we also have a potential of wind energy, tidal energy. So India
But
has,
are we like countries that have taken lead amongst the league of countries that have taken lead in these segments, say solar energy or wind energy? We are told that some other countries are doing better than India.
the India is taking a step in right direction, because the International Solar Alliances, it was a step that was taken by India and France. So it was one of the progressive step, and sir, India started late in these sectors by being a late comer, but still it is performing good in terms of all these sectors, because we are already achieved the 36% energy from non-fossil fuel sources, and our aim was 40% by 50% by 2030.
Okay, now coming back to your college,
Yes, sir.
it's an all-girl college,
Yes,
no?
sir.
How do you look at this? Like 21st century India, most of the clothings I see are unisex clothings, right? Girls are breaking the glass ceilings in the corporate sector, sports, aviation, everywhere. And to have at the national capital an all girls college, why? What are the, I mean, how do you see this?
Sir, Miranda was established as a college in 1948. So from that time it was a girls' college, so it was maintaining its legacy. And so secondly, for the some girls, like their parents, they prefer if they want to send their girls to the Delhi or any other metropolitan cities, they prefer mostly to send them to the girls' college or the hostel associated with it for the safety purpose. There was fear in their mind. So the girls' college is also an avenue for the girls whose parents are somewhere hesitating to send them at a
What
metropolitan
is the
city.
relevance of all girl space for the growth of a girl?
Sir, for the all girls space, firstly, it will remove the hesitance that was in the mind of the girl, so that it provides them the platforms where they will open up themselves, and after that, after college or after graduation, when they open themselves in the whole world, in their views, in terms of thoughts.
Okay, thank you.
So, Pratibha, you tell me, you are talking about India as a subcontinent, is it not? So I give you a proposition that let us have more than one time zone for India. I had been in Northeast and I find there is a more than 1.5 hour time difference. I get up early morning, my friends in Punjab are not getting up from bed. I can't talk to them because they have not yet got up. In the evening, I go to sleep, they have not yet gone to sleep. Why not have two time zones at least for India? What's the problem?
Sir, if we see in the east and west portion of India, there was a gap of 2 hours in terms of time zone, but we have only one time zone, that is the meridian passes through 82 by 30 degrees.
Why not have two time zones? You see, let's
Sir,
not go into the details.
it will create the problem in firstly in the management, like our railways. There it will difficult to manage the two different time zones for railways. And so secondly, in the India we have following the uniform administration, so it will create some problems in the simple functioning or smooth functioning of administration.
But in there may be a country which is having more than one time zone, is it not? Nearby, any other country?
Nearby,
I mean, nearby, not that, but Russia, how many time zones? it has?
Russia has approximately 16-17 time zones are
At least
there.
11, 12, 13 time zones, 13 time zones, maybe,
Sorry, sir.
around. So, if they can manage the trains running from one corner to another corner, why we cannot have two time zones? What is the problem?
So we can have two time zones, but before that we have to make our administration, our people comfortable with this and use with this. India is still the progressing country, so by adopting the two time zone at the present situation, it might create obstacles in its smooth functioning of administration.
Maybe there will be confusion. Some confusion will be there. And our priorities are elsewhere. The time zone is not our priority. That's why we have not done. That's interesting point. Any idea how many time zones Netherlands had? Holland, how many time zones?
Sorry, sir, I don't have.
Huge many time zones. Not one or two. It's a small country, but many time zones for different reasons. Okay. You are interested in police, I find. You have put IPS as a second choice.
Yes, sir.
Are you aware what are the different committees and commissions which suggested police reforms.
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
Sir, the committees that one is the solely Saurabhji committee,
Mhm.
and the second is,
What did they do?
sir, I'm not properly aware about the provisions of that committee.
I mean objectives. You see, they may have not achieved, or they may have achieved, but then why they were commissioned? Idea, or that committee why it was made.
Sir,
Okay, forget that. Any other? They made a police act, draft police act. Okay, yeah. Then
and so secondly, we have the Prakashik judgment of 2006 that give the many suggestions related to the police reform.
have they been implemented, those suggestions?
So, until now, all suggestions are not implemented.
Other day, the Director General of Police of Uttar Pradesh had been transferred. Transferring is not a big issue, but then if I examine it in light of Prakash Singh's case, then somewhere I feel that perhaps there is some lacuna, that judgment has not been followed up. What do you say? Do you read that news?
Sorry, sir, I'm not aware about.
Okay, Aisha, thank you. Yeah.
Pratibha, you did your graduation in 2017.
Yes, sir.
So 4 years you have only been trying for civil services.
Yes, sir.
Why?
So, because civil services, firstly, when I started preparing for the civil services, my base was not strong. For the 2 years, I just prepared the basics and all this, the basic optional I prepared. And so, after in my third attempt, I just left by the some marks. So, in the fourth attempt, so secondly, I have aim of to become the civil servant. So that's why I dedicated my 4 years in the civil services, so that I can bring improvement in me and so that I will serve better in future.
So you want to join civil services only to serve better. That's all. You
Sir,
can serve those who sit and watch also serve.
sir, for the respect that is being associated with civil services is also attracted me, so that's why I.
So attracted for what?
Sir, the respect after becoming a civil servant, and when you serve the people, the respect they will provide you, that was immense, and it's great than everything. The respect, love that you got from the people.
Okay. And suppose you are not selected,
Yes, sir.
then what will happen? You have any plan B, because you have spent 4 years, which is a long time frame.
Yes, sir. If I will try my best till the end, but if I will not get selected in the civil services, then I have aim to open a cafe. I love the cafe and the coffee and the sandwich, so I have interest in cafe. That's it.
Not a startup. Startup is the flavor of the day.
So startup is the flavor of the day, but cafe is also a small startup.
Okay, you you have stayed in Delhi. Tell me 3 problems of Delhi.
So the first problem of Delhi was the traffic. There was a lot of traffic congestion and it caused delay in the time and waste of money and time both. The second problem of Delhi is the safety of women. As we have seen the many cases regarding the rape of the women, like 2012 Nirbhaya case, and these are the not in line with the capital of the country. And so, thirdly, the problem that Delhi is facing is in terms of water. The water quality and the supply of water is not regular in Delhi.
Oh, but Delhi government takes pride in the fact that water is being supplied now and mostly free.
So, though it was free, but the quality of water and it's not supplied
Okay.
regularly.
And so you, okay. I want your views on coronavirus as a bioweapon. I make a statement that coronavirus is a bioweapon. Now you react to this statement.
So, though when the coronavirus came, many statements came that it was a bioweapon being developed by the China, but in my opinion, it was not a bioweapon. as we have seen, the China is also suffering the coronavirus, and recently the great outbreak happened there. So it was a problem that happens because of irregularity in the medical or the research wing. So, and so secondly, the consumption pattern in our society is day by day becoming the degraded, and that's why the proper phytosanitary measures are not adopted in the eating. So that's why it transferred from the animals to humans. And so thirdly, if I say this coronavirus, it was a world issue. It was not a single country issue. All the people, all the society is suffering, and no one is left out of this. So it is a weapon for all. It was not. We can say that the issues arises that it was a bioweapon, but in my opinion, it was not a bioweapon. It was a just crisis that society is facing out of
Okay.
irregularities.
And what are your views on uh, criminalization of marital rape? You have read about the judgment, the splintered judgment. What is your personal view on that?
In my opinion, the marital rape, if we'll criminalize it, it was a good step because it will bring the equality in society. And so, by keeping this in mind, that in future the misuse of bill will have misuse of the bill or the act will happen, we can't stop ourselves from implementing the progressive laws in our society. And so, though the family system might get hampered and it was difficult to prove the marital rape, but I believe we should go with the criminalization of the marital rape, or the make it.
So you are in favor of
Yes, sir.
penalizing it.
Yes,
Okay, one more question on 15th Finance Commission.
yes.
In what way this 15th Finance Commission report is different from all previous reports? And why are states still objecting to some of the recommendations?
So in the 15th Finance Commission, the new recommendation related to the Defense Modernization Fund has came, and the states were objecting on this because the fund for the Defense Modernization Fund will be reduced before the money was transferred to the states. So the states have objection that it will reduce their share. And so secondly, in the this 15th Financial Commission, it come in two phases. Firstly, for the 2021, and from now in second phase from 2021 to 2026. So this was the first finance commission that came in two phases.
Well, Pratibha, tell me very briefly about the socio-economic conditions of women in Rajasthan. Are you happy, or you would like to do something for their improvement?
Though Rajasthan government is taking many steps for the improvement, but there were still some loopholes are there in the progress of women in the Rajasthan. So like child marriages, the Rajasthan has the highest number of child marriages in India, and it was impacting the women's basic right, and at the same time it was impacting the educational right of women. And so secondly, in Rajasthan, if we say the labor force participation rate for the women is mostly in the agriculture sector, and it was also very low. So we should increase the women's participation in the industry, or provide them the chance or the scope so that they will come up in the industry or startup sectors. And so the third problem that women are facing in Rajasthan is the patriarchal mindset. There was a lot of obstacles in the women's to exercise their choice in Rajasthan.
Good. Very good. Now, the recent, the second phase report of NFHS 5. Are you aware of that?
Yes, sir.
Are there any indications you are aware of which show some positive developments for women, particularly? Just 2, 3.
I am aware about the child marriages. The child marriages in the overall India has declined, and also for the Rajasthan, I'll say in particular, the child marriages for the women, it declined from 35 to 25%, and for the overall India, it declined from the 20 to 17%. So it was a progress.
Also, something on domestic violence against women. Any idea in that report?
Sorry, sir.
Okay, no problem. Fine. Now, Pratibha, women now they are allowed to have role in Indian Army in the combat part of Indian Army. It is a very progressive step. I really welcome that. But I see only a single problem in that. You see, our soldiers in Army, Air Force, or Navy, they come mostly from rural areas, and they have a very strong this patriarchal mindset. Maybe they are from Punjab or Haryana or any part of the country. Barring few northeastern states, we have a very strong patriarchal mindset, and they are reluctant to take orders from a woman. So how to handle that situation? Because if they are in combat role, commanding positions, so do you think that our soldier would be able to take order from a women officer? And how to address this issue?
Sir, firstly, in my opinion, if women officer reached that level to give command to soldiers, it means she proved herself at many points
Good.
in the army. So it was a moral obligation, and it was also a duty of soldiers officially to follow the orders of the women officer. And so secondly, we need to bring the behavioral change in the soldiers, though they are from rural background, but by showing them like some documentaries in which women have progressed and their instructions work well for our economy, work well for our security and defense purpose. And so thirdly, if we say the present finance minister, she was before that was a defense minister of India. So we can show them that if women lead the country in the defense sector at the national level as a minister and at the world level, so she can also perform well at the level of the army or the ground level.
Right. Pratibha, we have this MG Narega for rural employment with a strong element of guarantee part of it, 100 days guarantee. But the problem of unemployment, I think, is equally or maybe even worse in urban areas. So why don't we have a similar scheme for the urban area? Has anything been done by some state government, including Rajasthan? Are you aware?
Yes, sir. In this year's budget, Rajasthan government came up with the Indira Gandhi Urban Employment Guarantee Scheme, and the Tamil Nadu government also came up with such scheme to provide the guaranteed employment in urban areas.
Good. My last question, Pratibha, what is this carbon sequestration?
The carbon sequestration is the process through which the carbon in the environment will get sequestrated in the soil through the ways of afforestation or many other technical and
These are natural ways of carbon sequestration. But in addition to that, do we also have any means for artificial carbon sequestration to expedite the whole process of carbon sequestration? Because forests are, of course, carbon sinks, so they will be helping in carbon sequestration. But apart from that, anything on artificial sequestration?
it must be there, but I am not able to recall.
Thank you.
Thank
Over to you.
So, Pratibha, we have covered quite a few areas. Any subject topic which you think has not been covered by us? I can ask a question from that subject.
The specific to the Hanumangarh, because that most of the places they will not ask me about my city, and that was a
You want me to ask about Hanumangarh?
yes, sir.
So tell me, what are the places worth seeing in Hanumangarh for a tourist?
Sir, Hanumangarh has a great potential of being a tourism to improving the tourism or to being a tourism hub. We have from the Indus Valley civilization, we have the Kalibangan site in Hanumangarh. And sir, in the Kalibangan site, we find the pluff field, the Bengals from the Harappan civilization. And so secondly, in Hanumangarh, there is a Gogamedi temple. The Gogamedi temple has a specialization in that all religion, whether it is Hindu, whether it is Muslim, whether it is Christian, all religion follow that temple. They visit that temple and they pay their dedication to that temples. And even the Muhammad Ghaznavi, he also pays regard to that temple. It was a 950 years old temple. And so thirdly, there was a Kabutar Singh Gurdwara in the Nohar district, in Nohar Tehsil of Hanumangarh. In that Gurdwara, it marks the visit of the Guru Gobind Singh Ji there. So Hanumangarh has a great potential, if we say, in terms of historical. And there is the Bhatner fort, that was a 1700-year-old fort in Hanumangarh. And even when the Taimur came in 1391, before invading Delhi, he captured the Bhatner fort of Hanumangarh. And according to his biography, it was among one of the strongest or one of the most protective forts in India.
So any improvement has been done on Bhatner Fort in the last few years?
Yes, sir. The restoration of Bhatner fort is being done, like the walls and it was start diminishing. So the government is repairing its walls or other infrastructures inside this fort.
So thank you, Pratibha.